Framber Valdez took the mound today, looked good. Some relief pitchers were excellent today, and Yainer Diaz goes deep. Let's talk about it. And will Cam Smith skip AAA on this next edition of Locked On Astros?
Yainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. Find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on iHeartRadio and YouTube, where I'm always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and make us your first listen. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. All you have to do is hit that little red button down there and just subscribe to us. Help us get to 14,000 subscribers. Today's episode is brought to you by Marwin Gonzalez's glove that Altuve will be using in the outfield. That's what apparently it is. So we'll talk about that and more on this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. I know that Framber Valdez made his start today. It was very good. How good? We'll talk about that. Altuve, not only does he have a new glove, but he actually gave away his infield glove. So what does that mean? We're going to take a deep dive into that. And somebody said that we had a very stupid take on YouTube and said that that Cam Smith will be on the opening day roster. If he is, more power to him. But look at the history of what the Astros have done in the past. We will address that in the third quadrant. Not quadrant. I'm thinking math in the third segment. But guys, let's go and get started with a big thing. Framber Valdez, I think that he's he's always been known as a ground ball pitcher.
Yeah.
But today it was on front and centered, and he had 26 pitches, 15 of them were strikes. He faced 6 hitters. He got 4 ground balls. One of them was a double play. This is vintage Framber Valdez, right, Brett?
Yeah, it is. And that's what you want to see out of Framber. Framber comes in as the ace of this staff, and he is the guy that is the next man up with talks of, do they extend this guy or not, Eric? But what you like to see in their first outing in spring training, you just like to see positive stuff. They don't have to be world beaters, but inducing those ground balls early on definitely will build the confidence for Framber, because we know the part of his game that we've seen teeter the most is when it comes to his mentality, putting pressure on himself, pressing too much, and then kind of things, like just the wheels falling off the cart. And so this was the first start. There is going to be many other spring training starts that he's going to get, and the further into spring training he gets, they're going to extend him out. But it is great to see him induce ground balls. And, the Astros didn't give up a run today. The pitching staff as a whole had 10 strikeouts and 1 walk. So Framber led the charge, and the relief pitchers came in and did their job.
Yeah, it's good to see the Astros just do that. And you have a lot of no names on here. I would say that most of y'all haven't heard of any of these guys. I know we've talked about a lot of these names on the podcast, but after Framber Valdez, you had Castro come in, Luis Contreras, I believe he came out. He pitched a little bit with the Astros last year. Van Wy, he pitched. Tamares, he pitched, and then Huysman pitched. But that was 6 innings of shutout ball, like you said, the 10 strikeouts, only 8 hits allowed. Only 1 walk. That 1 walk was by Framber Valdez. But these guys, I don't know if any of them make the opening day roster, but with the injury to Orts and depending on how long that drags on, this is an open audition for a young arm to make the bullpen. And you had Huysman and Van Wy saying, hey, choose me. And maybe these guys get a look.
Yeah, exactly. Blake Huysman, get this, 29 years old, Eric. He has yet to crack a major league roster. He was drafted by the Pirates. He's been with the Mariners. He's been with the Cubs. And when he was coming up to the plate, they were bringing the tie and run to the plate. And what does he do? He comes in, this kid's 5 strikeouts. I mean, what a performance in spring training. He is a lefty, which is a good thing. They don't have a ton of lefties. And this is the kind of guy that would be a dark horse candidate to make this spring training, to make the roster out of spring training. I can very easily see a pathway for Huysman and Van Wy. Van Wy just absolutely is killing it right now. And it was funny. He actually praised, I think it was Leah of the Houston Chronicle, because she's like, this is how you pronounce his name. And she spelled Van and then WHY. And he said, thank you. And then I tweeted at him and I said, well, we say your name the right way on Locked On Astros. And he liked that tweet. So he appreciates the name pronunciation. But back to this bullpen, Eric, and these arms. I thought coming into the spring training that maybe we were a little thin, and losing Presley kind of hurt us. And then we hear now the shoulder injury issue with Sean Dubin. I'm going, oh man, are we going to have enough arms? We've got quite a few arms, Eric, in our minor league system that are really close. And that could bode very well for the Houston Astros in 2025.
So that's 2 injuries that you've mentioned that the Astros are definitely monitoring with Ort and Dubin. These are guys that I think a lot of people don't really give Dubin enough credit. I think that for his role, I think he plays the part. But Ort, with his cup of tea last year, he showed a very impressive Ort, and then another kind of bad version of himself. But we see the stuff is there. Once he puts it all together, the stuff is there. And so health is the issue right now. And so, yeah, there's a chance that you have several young guys with not a lot of experience make the opening day roster. And so it's a open call for the bullpen right now. And that's what happens when you trade Ryan Presley. You have some openings. Forrest Whitley, I'm not going to say he's 100% going to make the team. I would say he's 95 to 99% likely going to make the team at this point because of his pure stuff, and they don't want to give up on him. And so I think that outside of that, there's a whole bunch of roles. They're not going to go back and get Neris. I saw somebody in the comments say Neris. I don't think that they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to go back and do the rethreads. And yes, I've seen the comments, not necessarily on here, but at what point are the Astros going to go back and retrade for Justin Verlander? I don't think they're going to do that. If they know how expensive it is. They saw after last time how expensive it was. So I don't think that they're going to do that. So I think they're trying to make a change. And the perfect example is who played third base and first base for the Astros yesterday. And that was Paredes and Christian Walker. This is a new team. This may be a better team. This is a team that you need to watch out for. So in a second, we're going to talk about Jose Altuve. I saw that down there. It confused me. But Altuve, he's going to be making his first appearance this spring, and it's going to be at a different position. And he's going to be he traded in his infielder's glove. Who do you give it to? We'll talk about that next. Hey guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. So the Astros have decided that after months, maybe not months, but at least a month and a half of practicing in the outfield, they feel like Jose Altuve is close enough to being ready to try left field. This is no longer an experiment, guys. He has given his infield mitt to a young fan. Can you imagine going to spring training and like, I get to see Jose Altuve, I get to see all the other players, and then you get Jose Altuve's glove? That has got to be awesome feeling. But for him to say, I am no longer an infielder, I'm going to give up my glove.
That's, that's more than symbolic. That's like Jose saying, I'm done. And when he was interviewed by a Venezuelan TV station over the weekend, he did say, I plan on playing here the next 5 years. I mean, he literally said that. So this is not some, I'm going to go try it out. And And look, there's still a little bit of talk, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you can solidify this lineup even more with someone like Nolan Arenado, move Paredes to second, you solidify Altuve in left, I wouldn't be upset about that. But look, his days of being an everyday infielder are done. I really thought that maybe DeCenzo, trigger warning.
For all the people that hate Altuve in the left field.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I really think that I just said, I just thought, look, Jose is going to be your starting second baseman. DeCenzo is going to be your starting left fielder. But man, Friday, he's going to be starting left field in an actual game. And so we'll see how it goes. We know that it is not, it's going to come with his bumps and bruises. And look, Powered by Plant says, Brett is obsessed with Arenado. I was kind of off the Arenado train, but I've slowly gotten back on the Arenado train because I think Eric, it extends our lineup and it gives you for the next 3 years some absolute studs in this lineup. And I think him in this lineup, he would be reinvigorated because you got to understand this guy's motivated. He wants to win a ring. And what are the things that the guys have said when they've come over here? Paredes. You have guys like Walker. Anybody that comes to this team, they want to play with Altuve. They want to play here because of the culture. Cam Smith talked about the culture, talked about how much he loves it here already. And he talked about after his game, his 2 home run game, he said it was like a dream. It was almost like it wasn't real. I mean, that was his first hit in an Astros uniform, like as a pro. And we'll get to in our last segment about whether or not we think Cam can skip AAA or not. But Jose Altuve, getting back to him turning in his glove, to me is the ultimate team move. And you don't see too many guys doing that. Now, Mookie Betts made a move. Fernando Tatis Jr. made a move. So we do have
Rafael Devers made a move.
Rafael Devers has not made. No, no.
I almost got you.
You almost got me. No, Rafael Devers like, nope, I'm not moving. He's basically his version of hell no. And, Devers is pretty staunch. And it seemed like Bregman's like, hey, whatevs, Bregman's excited to be there. But when players are willing to do that, they really cement their legacy. There will be a statue of Jose Altuve outside of Dyken Park for sure when it's all said and done. His number will be retired, and he will be, mark my words, a first ballot Hall of Famer.
All right, as we continue to trigger warning, basically the Astros feel like Spada said, I think he's in a good spot. I think he's ready for it. We're all looking forward to it. I know he is, but I think we've done all our work preparing him for this next step. Just remember that he's probably likely going to only play 5 innings in left field and probably go hit the showers or something. But you can imagine this guy he runs around bases and everything, but he probably hasn't run as much as he's done this spring training. So definitely he's probably in the best shape of his career, and he's going out there and giving his all. He's doing what he can. And so if Altuve can go out there, this is the first time he'll play professional baseball in the outfield. If he goes out there and impresses, then you have your left fielder. He's not going to go back and forth. He knows how to play second base. If they have an absolute need, if they can't find somebody to fill in at second base and he sucks at left field, then maybe they'll make that move. But this is not an experiment anymore. This is, we're going to throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. And that's what's going on here. So I'm sorry for those of y'all that don't like it. He may not be the most accurate. He may not have the strongest arm. There may be some situations, but DeCenzo did play right field today. And I think that's going to be the transition point for him. He's going to be playing right field. So it's a matter
hold on. What if DeCenzo takes Chaz's spot in right field? Mm-hmm. I think they want him to be utility, but because look at this. I'm getting these weird vibes. Okay. Think about this. Watch what I'm going to flash up on the screen. All-star left fielder, Jose Altuve. I mean, think about it. No, Eric, hold on. Don't crush my hopes and dreams yet. Let me talk. But can you imagine all-star left fielder Jose Altuve? I'm just saying, this guy's motivated. He's the ultimate competitor. This guy could be an all-star. Now, is he an all-star? Is he the best left fielder in the league? No, he's not the best defender in the league. Obviously, he's never played, but that would be awesome. I mean, think about it. I love the idea of him winning, or even if he's a reserve, okay? Even if he's a reserve, he doesn't have to win number one. But man, Astros fans, y'all better vote your you-know-what off this year. And yes, get like 20 different emails and freaking stuff the ballot box like the dang Royals did that year when all those stupid Royals made the all-star team when they didn't deserve it. So if they can do it, we can do it. So that's your mission. That's your mission, Locked On Astros Nation. We are putting Jose Altuve on the ballot, top 3 left field. Mission. If you accept this mission, Jose Altuve will love you for it.
I think they technically put it as outfielder, so he's going to be competing against Aaron Judge and all the different
Eric, why do you have to bring logic into this? I'm trying to live in a dream world where everything that I want happens, right? Come on, man. But
okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
So definitely a situation where it'll be interesting if he gets maybe reinvigorated and maybe his numbers go up and he becomes some guy that has a lot of the speed that he's had in past. And we've already seen his offense game kind of go up a little bit. So I think that what we're going to see is Jose Altuve. I think I'm not going to say he's going to get younger, but I think he's going to play younger. He's going to be out there having fun. He's going to be out there. He won't be able to interact with the players like he used to, but he'll still be out there and like, ooh, what I want to make SportsCenter. What type of play can I go out there and do? And so I think he'll go out there and do what he always tries to do and just try to make that great play. He may not have the range at second base anymore, but I think he's going to go out there and do his best in left field. Is he going to be the best left fielder defensively? Probably not. But we've dealt with Carlos Lee in left field. We've dealt with some other pretty poor left fielders in this time. I don't think that Alvarez is a bad left fielder. I think that he may not know how to play left field 100%, but he does pretty good when he's out there. But I think what this is a way to keep Altuve's bat in the lineup without limiting him to DH. And so this is just let's try this out. And if it works, it works. And something that I would like to see work, and I think this would be a way to extend the lineup a little bit, is Diaz. I really want him to hit cleanup. And he hit a home run today. I don't know, was he batting cleanup again? Yeah, he was batting cleanup again. So I think that this is a trend that Espada probably recognizes. He was a big clutch guy last year outside of Alvarez. But I think that, and Tucker, of course, but I think that Diaz, I mean, granted, it was a spring training home run. You can't get too excited about it, but I like what I've seen so far this spring training with Diaz.
Yeah, Yainer Diaz, dude, I just absolutely I love him behind the plate. I love the home run that he hit today. Eric, did you watch the replay of his home run?
Yeah.
Did you see the 2 guys with the gloves not catch the ball?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I posted on Twitter, 2 dudes with the glove walk into a bar, can't catch a break. Neither can they catch a home run ball. I was like, how do you miss it? Both of y'all had a glove. Those were the guys that probably didn't play a lot of baseball. And then, of course, one fan said maybe they just needed a couple more beers in them. But that's kind of what's fun about spring training. You know, we didn't go on the outfield and try to catch home run balls and stuff. But if you guys get out to spring training, like you can go while they're taking BP. I have some friends that go in the outfield fences and they stand there to catch home run balls that they hit out of the park during practice. You can do that. That's cool. You know, a friend of mine catches them and gives them to the kids that are all around them and stuff like that. So I've been seeing a lot of interaction. Diaz signing autographs for fans, but Eric, Diaz is going to become one of the leaders of this team over this season. Mm-hmm. And he's going to lead this. I think he's going to lead this pitching staff in the right way. And in the absence of someone like Alex Bregman, I think someone like a Jeremy Pena steps up and really kind of helps take charge, maybe a Christian Walker on the field. But it will be good to see what's going to happen here in Houston with the pitching staff. And I think Yainer Diaz will be much improved behind the plate defensively.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out.
That's right. This episode by Wonderful Pistachios. WonderfulPistachios.com is where you can get cracking. Look for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious. Crack into a good source of protein from Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. You have 2 different varieties. You have the ones in shells and the ones without shells. If you're on the go and you don't have time to crack the shells, get the shellless version of Wonderful Pistachios. You still get the same amount of protein. Or if you like that crack and you love to have that snack and be loud with it, then get to cracking with the best snacking nut on the market. That is Wonderful Pistachios. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs the protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Hey guys, we're back with the Locked On Astros podcast. Go and make us your first listen. Pretty soon you can watch us on your Roku device. You can already watch us on your Amazon Fire TV stick. You can probably watch us from everywhere right now. Brett and I on your TV every day. So, guys,
and Eric, and
yes.
There also is coming, because I was talking to Reed Redmond with Locked On today, and he was telling me, like, we need to get excited about the soon to come Locked On app. There's going to be an app where you can watch our show too. So you can watch us pretty much anywhere you want.
And on Channel 11, don't forget about that. You can watch us on Channel 11. Well, maybe not the actual TV station, but
Channel 11, the app. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, seriously, I'm excited about the Roku channel that will be coming out soon. But seriously, Amazon Fire TV, like you mentioned. But when that Locked On app comes out, that's going to be so boss, because you can watch any sport, any team, anytime, and especially catch us, Locked On Astros.
All right. So, guys, I know yesterday, apparently, I set off a trigger on some of the people, and a couple of people are like, well, y'all don't know what you're talking about, thinking that Cam Smith is not going to be the opening day a starter on the opening day roster or something. Well, we would love that. Honestly, I would love that. If he earns enough to outshine somebody, maybe he pushes Paredes to second base and then he plays third base. He's playing third base, I believe, tomorrow when Alvarez and Pena are making their first start of the season. So I'm not saying I don't want him starting. The difference is the reason why I still think that even if he has a good spring training and he's hot towards the end of it, you have the Super 2 deadline. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but if they wait until after Super 2 deadline, I believe that's in June or the end of May or something like that, they could get an extra year before he reaches arbitration. So that's something that's you're talking about millions and millions of dollars, but that's also something the Astros have not done. We obviously know, we've been talking about one of the guys that has been promoted from Double-A to the major leagues without playing a game in Triple-A. That's Jose Altuve. John Oldred is a guy from the old days that I can remember that never played Triple-A, but that doesn't really happen with position players, because typically when they get to Triple-A is when they get to face I think in Double-A they have the stuff, they have the guys that can throw the hard stuff 99 miles per hour. But in AAA, you have the breaking pitches. You have all that stuff that you got to learn how to hit. Bryce Matthews, that's something he needs to work on. Right. So I want to just give you a list of the players that have actually made the leap, and I want you to tell me what you think about this list. George Springer, he spent most of the season in 2013 at Double-A before getting called up after Triple-A. I think he spent about a month before the Super 2 deadline, and that was in 2014. You had Alex Bregman. He was called up in July after playing only 18 games in AAA. Carlos Correa started season at AA in 2015 and was called up after a short AAA stop. Of course, Jose Altuve was called up straight from AA. Hunter Pence also came up, and he was called up from AA straight to the major leagues, but that's because they were desperate for an outfielder at the time. Abraham Toro is the last star to make that leap. And I used the word star. He hasn't really been a star, but the Astros were in desperate need, so they went ahead and promoted him from AA to the big leagues. Sometimes it helps. Altuve has been a star. Hunter Pence went on to become a star. But sometimes it kind of hinders their development. Who would have known if Toro maybe spent a little bit more time down in AAA, maybe got to see some more pitches, maybe he would become a bigger player. Who knows?
Now, here's the thing. When you look at his rise in 2024, Eric, in the Cubs organization, he obviously started in A-ball. He played 15 games, had 48 at-bats, 6 home runs. Those were all 6 games in a row. Batted .313. Moved him up. Played 12 games in high A, 48 at-bats, 16 hits, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 9 RBI, 6 walks, only 9 strikeouts, hit .333, had an OPS of .921. His OPS in his first stint with low A was 1,175. Then when he went to AA, Eric only played 5 games, but had 19 at-bats, had 9 total bases, 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 triples, 3 RBI, and only 3 strikeouts. He hit .263. His OPS dropped a little bit, 774, but that was in AA. But overall, Eric, he's got good numbers. He has a slash line of 396, 609, and 1005. So is there a possibility for him to come in and rise fast? Very much there is. But I think what you do with Cam is I think you put him in AA and you start him in Corpus, and he will be there for a short time, and you bring him up. Last year when they brought up Bryce Matthews, because I talked to him about this, he only played like 12 games in AAA. They didn't bring him up till late. If they bring up, if Cam Smith is starting in Corpus, he's only there to get warm. My assumption is he starts in Corpus, plays, maybe 10 games, 12 games. And if he's hitting the cover off the ball, go ahead and bump him up. Bring him up to the AAA club because you want him hot and ready whenever it's time for them to call him up. And he is a guy that they will call up if they think he's ready. And he's not a Loper Fido type who swings and misses at a lot of pitches. He's not a Pedro Leon type who swings and misses at a lot of pitches. He's not some of these other guys that have been lesser hitters. He is a guy that, as my friend Corbin said today to me, he is a true 5-tool type player. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got the glove, he's got the range. So he will be here when the time is the best for Cam and for the Astros. I really have a hard time believing that he will be on the opening day roster at Daikin Park on opening day. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I do believe that he starts in Corpus, moves to AAA, and then he gets called up at some point this season. Because let me tell you what you can't do is you can't let guys like Chas McCormick, who are veterans, who have had a ton of chances to prove themselves, Jake Myers, who is a pro, a top 3 Gold Glove nominee, but has had his chance to prove. And if you've got a guy like Cam Smith and he's hitting the cover off the ball and he's doing everything he asks him to do, you can't deny the kid coming up. So there is room for him to be put on this roster. That would not be a difficult move for the Houston Astros, I don't think.
Yes. So I'm looking all the way back to 2007. The Astros have only called a position player up straight from AA 3 times. 2 of them have become stars. 1 of them became just a guy. And no offense to Toro, because he helped with that no-hitter that one time, but he was just a guy, and he's just a guy right now. He's just a free agent, but I just think that there's a lot of money on the line, and Cam Smith has only played 32 minor league games.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's 22. That's because he stayed in college. He wanted to become more of a number one type of draft pick. And that's what the Cubs did last year. They drafted him in the first round. And so I think the Astros have a diamond in the rough. They can see what exactly he could do this spring training. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they option them down to minor league camp sooner rather than later, just so they didn't get anybody's hopes up. Because I think that they're going to wait until at least, if not midseason, and wait till later in the season.
Yeah. So here's the deal. And I'm just calling this for the future, not for 2025. So let's just be clear. And I put this up there. I'm calling it, this is me, that he will be the next great right fielder for the Astros. I believe he's going to play in the outfield. I don't believe he's going to come up in the infield. I think you've got the infield locked with the guys that you have on the roster. And again, if they do go get Arenado, you can bet that Cam Smith will play in the outfield because you'll have 3 years of Arenado and Paredes. You'll have 3 years of Walker. So you'll have the infield covered. Jeremy Pena is going to be at shortstop, and he's not a shortstop. So if Cam Smith is not playing third, okay, then Cam Smith will be your next right fielder, your next right fielder. Brett loves Arenado. You're right. I do. I definitely do, because I think
say it on air. Say it on air.
Hey, I love Arenado to Houston extending this lineup, because if not, who's your 7th hitter after your 8th and 9th hitter? I would rather it be Arenado, no offense, than Zach DeCenzo. I think Zach DeCenzo is going to play some key roles and get some key at bats this year. I think he's going to play very well. If I have a chance to get Arenado for the next 3 seasons and he's motivated, he wants to get a ring, why wouldn't you want him here?
Right. So, guys, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. I got to get to class, and thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you make us your first listen. Thank you very much, and we will see you later. And, Brett, what did we always say?
Go Stros.
We'll see you tomorrow. Get a shirt that says, I literally love Arenado.
If he comes to Houston, I will. Bank on